Hey guys, Sidharth Kumar back again from ReviewMagic, and this is where we review movies and shows and give you all the scoop about whether you should watch the show or not. So, today I have an interesting show that I want to discuss about, and that is Kal Penn's documentary, which is available on Prime. It's called This Giant Beast That Is the Global Economy. So, what this is all about is that, Kal Penn, who we all know, he is an American actor. He was the former, White House Associate Director of Public Engagement. And, Cal has now got into this documentary, and it's all about walking through the different aspects of economy, and not just here in the US, but that's connecting us globally, and giving you a 8 piece episodes of how human beings on earth, whether you are in India, whether you are in Australia, New Zealand, or in South America, are all connected to each other. How? Through money. And that's the pitch of this particular documentary, which is available on Prime. When the show starts, that's how it says. So like, whether you like it or not, we are all connected through money, and that is true. When you walk through these 8 different episodes. By the way, this show, it came out in 2019, and it's been directed by Lee Farber and David Levin. It does star some of the actors from the American film industry. I've seen them. I don't know all of them, but today I just wanted to restrict to Kal Penn, but I do want to give credit to some of those, all the other actors as well, that did a good job in supporting Kal Penn in, walking through, what he wanted to say. So why did I get interested in this thing? So I think one of the things that you will see here in Review Magic is that we just don't stick to, Hindi shows or American movies, Hollywood, as Review Magic was started, because we wanted to have a objective view of shows that are going to be across the world, and it doesn't just have to be in one genre. It doesn't have to be a particular movie. It can be about a documentary, it can be about a show, it can be about different things. So anyway, so I was in a mood to watch a documentary, and Amazon was blinking this right in front of me. It has this red color bright poster thumbnail, I should say. And I said, what, this looks interesting. I have a business background and technology background too. I said, okay, let me just see what this is all about. And I saw Kal Penn was there. I saw the trailer. It looks pretty interesting. I must say, it is intriguing. If if you've been in business world or just in general to know what's going on. So that was my the hook that I got, and of course it was from Kal Penn. So I really thought that this documentary is not going to be that slow narrated one. This is going to have some humorous flavor because it's Kal Penn. I mean, Kal Penn, we know he's a brilliant actor. He's been a comedian. I haven't seen a lot of movies about him, but I know that Kal has that personality. His vibe is always to look at things from a comic angle. So, anyways, guys, so just going back into this documentary, it's got 8 different episodes. It starts with money laundering, then there is the second episode is are rich people dicks or do dicks get rich? Third is rubber, fourth AI, fifth counterfeiting, sixth is on death, seventh is on money bullshit, eighth is on global corruption. So you get the idea. I mean, there could be a lot more things added to this, but I feel that in season one, the director has done a good job in kind of scripting and segmenting this thing in 8 different episodes. So I took me almost 2 weeks. I was watching in and out. I was watching some other shows as well. So I think my takeaway from this documentary was that I thought that Cal did a phenomenal job, because sometimes you need a change. As I was mentioning before, when you see that slow narrated documentary, you kind of get a little bit, you get the idea you want, but sometimes if you're actually playing in that documentary, which you will find online, there are a lot of other brilliant actors who have been in documentary, but this is something, Cal was there. So you kind of it's like the guy next door. And Cal, he's not an actor in this documentary. I must tell you, he's like the happy-go-lucky guy. He's like the next door guy. He's not stopped by people in the document. Maybe he was, maybe he had security, but it didn't feel like Cal was. He looks like an ordinary guy just walking on the street. And he's very animated. His expressions are always that. So he really personifies the role of a common man. In a way, the message is very simple to understand, whether it is cryptocurrency, whether it's AI, counterfeiting. Cal makes it, look very, very easy because, he's comical. He's got some skit plays that are happening in the documentary. He's got some actors that are supporting him in this thing. So overall, I feel that the messaging in this documentary, the way it came out through the directions, vision, through the abilities of Cal, and touching on all these very important topics for the common man, whether it's money laundering, whether it's counterfeiting. uh, it was phenomenal. Cal actually travels all over the world. He's in India, he's in Germany, he's in the US, he's in South America, just to meet different people, get their perspective, what this is all about, and then bringing that digital information to the audience like me and to you today. So I thought it was funny, it was simple, very easy to follow, humorous, and different topics. And I think the most one you also want to understand is that all this is a very, very valuable piece of information. You can spend time reading it. I'm more of a visual person. I like to see images, and there's no doubt about it. Something that you see visually, although it's being there is audio in it as well. You kind of pick it up very quickly. So I think that was definitely the good things about it. One thing that I would say, there are certain episodes in it. And my favorite episodes were the first one: money laundering, counterfeiting, death, global corruption. So these are four out of the other ones. The other ones were good too, but if I have to rank it, these four would be at the top. Sometimes the episodes get a little bit lengthier, and it gets a little bit intertwined into different topics. It gets slow, and then you just feel like, all right, Cal, can you just come to the point now? So I think that is my advice over here. But as far as the learning that I was talking about is that money laundering talks about how the money is going from criminals to organizations that are cleaning this money. He actually meets people who had done money laundering here in New York City, and then what are the challenges of having breaks to stop this? It's going to choke the financial system. So why money laundering is happening? And I believe Cal mentioned that. The market where the biggest money laundering is happening is here in the U.S. In New York City, or just anywhere else. But U.S. is a big market, if I'm correct. But other countries also were very much involved in it. Russia, Europe, things like that. So it's just fascinating to see some of the things that Cal brought up. The other thing was about counterfeiting. So you think that Secret Service is only responsible for protecting the president and his family, but Secret Service also looks after counterfeiting, duplicate, fake notes. So that was something I didn't know, and he brings that up in that show. The economy around death, how there is this previously, like several years back, 50, 100 years, maybe not 50, 100 years back, if someone dies, people would just bury them there near the house, and that's it. But today there is this whole economy around funerals, right? You have to buy gifts, and like he goes to Hong Kong, and people are buying these fancy gifts. Why? Just to burn them. I mean, this is like $2,000 that he worth stuff he buys, and he has to burn them just to show that this is some of the cultural practices in Hong Kong. Maybe in different countries is different. Maybe in America, you do different things. So things have become complicated. Things, life is not as simple as it used to be. So I feel that that was also something that stood out to me. The other thing that he meets a real hitman in one of his shows, which I thought, wow, how did he pull that off? In one of the shows, which says "Are rich people dicks or do dicks get rich?" I mean, he's very blunt with the language in the show, so don't get a shock if you hear a few things that you may not have heard. But yeah, that was a good episode too. He shows all these fancy Ferraris, how some people become rich quickly. What are their choices, things like that. That was fascinating. And then Global Corruption was actually one of my favorite shows. Probably the number one show because I'm originally from India, and in Asia, whether it's Malaysia, whether it is India, Pakistan, these countries are mild in corruption, and common man is frustrated by politicians that are milking these people, and then they're putting more taxes. Like he brings the example of Prime Minister Najib, who under the 1 MDB investment scheme in Malaysia, he made a lot of money, maybe in millions of dollars. And interestingly, Malaysia is the number one country in the world that owns Birkin luxury bags. So ostentatious life of Prime Minister Najib and his wife, a corrupt prime minister who ultimately lost the election. I'm not sure if he's in jail or not, but yes, he there was some case going on behind him. But yes, I think that was an eye opener. How people were frustrated, they were making graffitis, all that things. So that was interesting. How he talks about that because it's common. I'm from India and I've seen all this corruption unfolding, and there should be strict laws for it. And some of those things that are shown in the movie, the whistleblowers that are trying their best, they're getting death threats, but still they want the truth to come out. And then also the when it comes to corruption, again, it's the corruption thing. So Singapore is number 5 on the list of countries where, I mean, at the top, the higher you are, the least corrupt you are. And Singapore has a reputation of being one of the least corrupt countries in the world. And that's why you see a lot of investments flowing to Singapore, a lot of expats moving there. It's a big financial hub in Asia. So, why is it a no corrupt nation? You can't smoke in a railway. You can't have a bottle of water there. You can't throw a bottle here and there. Even a maid can get fined for $300 over there. So laws are very strict there when it comes to cleanliness. There's no bribe over there. So I think that was an eye opener. But at the same time, press coverage in Singapore is very restricted. So on one hand, you have a least corrupted country, but then you also have press that is not open and that's not talking about a lot of things. So I think that was interesting to see what's going on in Singapore. So I felt overall this was a great documentary, guys. If you do want to see it, check it out. It's available on Prime. I highly recommend it. Cal was awesome. It kind of is going to give you a break from the usual movies and shows that you watch. So all kudos to Cal and the team that came up with this giant beast that is the global economy. I can't wait for season 2. But if you have any comments, you want to subscribe to the channel, feel free to do so. But until then, stay tuned and I'll be back on another review. So take care. Bye bye.